I'm trying to bring up to date my uh playlist of Lucy Letby information. Now there has been a couple things going on with that case. Now they're trying to say that she's innocent. It's kind of weird to me. But anyways, CPS admits that mistakes in Lucy Letby trial over door swap evidence. Don't know why. Right, let's see what they're saying.
The evidence was corrected in the retrial of Lucy Letby after initially being mislabeled. Lucy Letby, timeline of nurse who murdered 7 babies. For free real-time breaking news alerts sent straight to your evidence presented during the Lucy Letby trial showing which staff came in and out of the baby unit was incorrect, the Crown Prosecution Service has admitted. Letby is serving 15 whole life sentences for 7 murders and 7 attempted murders of babies in her care at the Countess of Chester Hospital between 2015 and 2016. A whole life order means Letby will spend the rest of her life in prison with no minimum term or chance of early release. Letby was first serving 14 whole life sentences for the 7 murders and 7 attempted murders, given to her last year. A retrial was ordered on a single attempted murder charge concerning a baby girl, known as Child K, after the first jury could not reach a verdict. Lucy Letby continues to maintain her innocence.
How is she innocent if she's done it?
A second jury took just 3.5 hours to convict Letby of the offense. The retrial heard that Letby targeted the baby after the infant was moved from the delivery room to the neonatal unit shortly after her premature birth. Nick Johnson KC, prosecuting, told the court that door swipe data, showing which nurses and doctors were entering and exiting the intensive care ward, had been mislabeled. The Crown Prosecution Service confirmed that there was a discrepancy discovered relating to one door in the neonatal intensive care unit and that had been corrected for the retrial. Lucy Letby is serving 15 whole life sentences for the murders of babies under her care, Cheshire Constabulary. A spokesperson said, 2 juries and 3 appeal court judges have reviewed a multitude of different evidence against Lucy Letby, and she has been convicted on 15 separate counts following 2 separate jury trials. We confirm that accurate door swipe data was presented in the retrial. We have been transparent in clarifying this issue and rectified it for the retrial. We are confident that this issue did not have a meaningful impact on the prosecution, which included multiple strands of evidence. In the initial trial, the prosecution said Dr. Ravi Jayaram, a consultant, had discovered Letby standing over baby K at 3.50 m on February 17, 2016. The baby was deteriorating and its breathing tube had been dislodged. The prosecution said door swipe data showed that the baby's designated nurse had left the intensive care unit at 3.47 m. However, the data was amended in the retrial to show the nurse had returned at that time, meaning Letby was not alone. It comes after former cabinet minister Sir David Davis told The Independent he was set to spearhead a probe questioning the conviction of Letby after a series of experts cast doubt over her guilt. Sir David said he hopes to visit Letby in prison as part of an investigation into whether the serial baby killer may be the victim of a miscarriage of justice. Several medical professionals have raised questions over Letby's conviction. In one podcast, the statistician Peter Elston and retired pediatrician Michael McConville claimed there had been inadequacies in the medical evidence presented during her trial. Letby continues to maintain her innocence despite her conviction and told jurors during her trial she was not the sort of person who would kill babies.
Well, what is the
Independent has contacted the CPS for comment.
That's so ridiculous. Oh boy. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. She's trying to pass the blame to someone else. I think I said this the last time. She was standing over a child that was nearing to pass away. What is good? They're giving her mercy. Why? Why? when she's the nearest thing since Mara Hindley. Anyways, let's add some more to this stuff. Because Lucy Letby, if she gets lets off, that means that how another person who's in the same predicament who do the same thing, they will be let off to do the same similar crime.
Support the Guardian. Support the Guardian. Lucy Letby was found guilty across 2 trials of murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 7 others. Composite, Guardian design. Lucy Letby, police and CPS handling of case raises new concerns about convictions. Exclusive, Letby's barrister says application challenging verdicts is being prepared using expert medical evidence. The public inquiry into the crimes of the former nurse Lucy Letby opened in Liverpool last month. Its chair, Lady Justice Thirlwall, dismissed concerns about the safety of the convictions as noise. The judge cautioned that questions being raised were increasing the distress of parents whose children had died or been harmed.
Because she harmed them. She's a danger to people. She's a danger to infants. She's a danger to whatever. If they let her off, they're stupid.
Letby was found guilty across 2 trials of murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 7 others at the Countess of Chester Hospital, Cock, in 2015 and 2016. Thirlwall pointed out that in May this year, the Court of Appeal refused Letby permission to appeal, and she said it was not the role of her inquiry to review the convictions. Yet questions about the case, and the number of experts raising them, have continued to mount. Letby is being represented by a new barrister, Mark MacDonald, and a number of specialists including leading neonatologists, doctors who specialize in treating premature babies, are voluntarily working with him on an application to the Criminal Cases Review Commission. Having examined the detail, these experts consider there are more plausible alternative causes of the baby's deaths and collapses than those for which Letby was convicted. The Guardian can now report on further key concerns at Letby's first trial. The prosecution used a chart that showed which nurses were on shift when babies were allegedly attacked.
So they're trying to switch the blame to someone else, basically.
The chart was presented to the jury to illustrate the central allegation that Letby was the one constant presence. Its use has prompted unusually vocal criticism from leading statisticians. They argue that the chart represents a classic example of the prosecutor's fallacy, in which an investigation starts with only a suspicion, and a case is built to support it, rather than all possible evidence and explanations having been rigorously explored. Jane Hutton, a professor of statistics at the University of Warwick, said of the shift chart and other elements of the case, "It's a large pile of crockery, much of which is broken. Such a pile does not hold water, however big it is." The chair of the public inquiry, Lady Justice Thirlwall, speaking during a preliminary hearing in September. Photograph, Peter Burnsley. The Thirlwall inquiry has heard that the police investigation was based on statistical coincidence from the beginning. According to documents seen by The Guardian, 7 doctors collaborated on compiling a report to police in May 2017.
So if people was compiling a report on the police of details of her unaliving children, right? Why are they, what? And it seems like the case holds water because she is asking for a retrial when all the evidence is right there showing that how right she did this to the children, right? So it presented details of 13 babies who had passed, who had been unalived, and 8 more had desecrated. I always say the word wrong. Excuse my dyslexic. They said Lucy Letby had been present at 11 of the unalivings of children, adding the likelihood of this occurring by chance alone. So it's not by chance. It's just that it's showing on the record how long she's been doing this, from May 2017. So So they're saying that how by them showing other things is diabolical, because what they're doing, they're bringing on other stuff which doesn't hold water, which they're trying to change the verdict to which is wrong. Okay. Really, really, she was the one who was evidently there. The Indian doctor also was a witness to her on unaliving the children, and another doctor. So why I don't know how to put it. Anyway, let this continue. I can't think of the words right now. Let it continue.
In their opening statement to the inquiry, hospital managers said that when they finally went to Cheshire Police, on May 5, 2017, it was explained that there was a notable high statistical relationship between letby and babies deteriorating on the unit.
So, look at it. It was explained that there was a more notable high statistical relationship between letby and the babies deteriorating on the unit, but no other evidence. So how they're saying that, it's down to the card swap thing and this and that and that and that and that and that and this and that and this and that, when the evidence is quite promptly right there.
At a subsequent meeting a week later, according to the manager's statement, Assistant Chief Constable Cheshire Darren Martland said, "This is uncomfortable as there is no specific allegation at this point to suggest a criminal act." 5 days later, Cheshire Police announced they had opened a criminal investigation. Validity of statistics. The Guardian has now learned that from an early stage, Cheshire Police recognized the case involved statistics, and they had initially engaged Hutton. According to emails seen by The Guardian, in April 2018 an officer on the investigation approached Hutton, who has extensive experience in medical research. Without naming letby, he asked Hutton whether she could put a figure on how likely it was to be just a coincidence for one member of staff to be on duty during all the deaths/collapses in the neonatal unit, i.e. 1 in a million, etc. She informed the police that a proper statistical inquiry would not concentrate on one member of staff from the outset, but instead required full research into all possible explanations for any increase in babies collapsing, including their medical conditions and prematurity, as well as the performance of the unit. Reviews commissioned by the hospital had found medical explanations for nearly all of the deaths, criticized the standard of care on the unit, and noted a lack of senior doctors. Cheshire Police then signed a consultancy agreement with Hutton and agreed fees, the documents suggest. The force did not proceed to commission Hutton's analysis at that time, but contacted her again in 2021 after letby had been charged. A video call was arranged, but an officer later cancelled the call. "We have had a further meeting this afternoon where we have informed the prosecutors that we were looking at the validity of statistical evidence again in the case," he wrote in an email. "The prosecutor does not agree with our line of inquiry and has instructed us not to pursue this avenue any further at present." Neither the initial engagement with Hutton nor the CPS instruction to the police to drop their line of inquiry into the validity of the statistical evidence in the case were disclosed to letby's defense team, The Guardian understands. Peter Green, Emeritus Professor of Statistics at the University of Bristol, said, "This is an extraordinary revelation. Statisticians have criticized the staff chart used in the trial of letby as a classic misuse of statistics. Now we know that the prosecution decided not to proceed with a proper analysis by Professor Hutton, a distinguished statistician who has decades of extremely relevant experience." MacDonald, letby's new barrister, said, "It is deeply concerning that no information regarding meeting with Professor Hutton or the material she had requested was ever disclosed to the defense." Hutton said she could not comment owing to confidentiality. Statisticians have expressed such serious concerns that the Royal Statistical Society, RSS, is expected to make a statement in the coming weeks. The RSS notably intervened previously in 2001, when Green was its president, about the statistics used to prosecute Sally Clark, who was convicted of murdering 2 of her children. Those criticisms helped to overturn her convictions as well as those of Angela Cannings and Donna Anthony, who had also been wrongly convicted of killing their children, verdicts the Court of Appeal had upheld. The backstairs. At Letby's main trial, the jury acquitted her of 2 charges and could not reach a majority verdict on 6 more. The CPS pursued a retrial in Support the Guardian. Lucy Letby was found guilty. Lucy Letby, police and CPS handling of case raises new concerns about convictions.
Hold on, let me find where it was.
During the course of the retrial in June, the lead prosecutor, Nicholas Johnson KC, had to tell the jury that important evidence presented in the first trial had been wrong. To establish where nurses and doctors were at particular times, Cheshire Police and the CPS had used records of entry through a secure door between the labor ward and the neonatal.
So there must be cameras showing where people was in specific places at specific times. When you're walking down the hospital wards places, there's cameras there. There's security there. So what are they trying? So they're saying that how it's not possible with somebody else. Once again, they're flinging the unalive babies to someone else. They're trying to pass the buck. They're trying to pass the buck on this one, and it's wrong. It's wrong that they are doing it when it just shows that the lady was there each time a child had died or demise or deteriorated or something. So
in the first trial, Johnson explained, the prosecution had used the door swipe records the wrong way round, so a nurse or doctor stated to have been leaving the neonatal unit was actually entering, and if they were stated to have entered, they had left. A plan showing the neonatal unit and surrounding areas. The secure doors are marked including the door between the unit and the labor ward, indicated by the red arrow. Illustration, Exhibit MSM/4/Thirlwall Inquiry. The Guardian understands that Cheshire Police only discovered the error in February 2024, 6 months after the main trial ended.
Reviewing it because of the so-called
the force
error
tasked an officer
the door,
with reviewing how the door swipe evidence had been used, and he found it had formed part of the evidence relating to 8 other babies. The review, however, suggested the mistake had no significant effect on the convictions. The only case in which it was central, the review found, was that of baby K. There are further questions about the value of the swipe data as a means of trying to prove who was in the neonatal unit, or that Letby, whom no one ever saw inflicting any harm, was alone with babies at relevant times. Michelle Worden, who worked at the unit as an advanced neonatal nurse practitioner until 2007 and has remained in close contact with staff, told The Guardian the unit had another door leading to a back stairs. She said the door had a keypad system, still in place when Letby worked there, so no specific staff data was recorded from it. Staff were going in and out of that door all the time and up and down the stairs, Worden said. To me, even without the discovery that they used it the wrong way round, the swipe data was worthless. A CPS spokesperson said, "We are confident the initial mislabeling of door swipe data had no meaningful impact on the prosecution."
Exactly.
The defense did not deem the issue significant enough to include it in Letby's unsuccessful request for leave to appeal, and when the initial error was highlighted at Letby's retrial, it did not prevent a second jury finding her guilty. Letby not on shift. A particular case that is generating questions about the safety of Letby's conviction is that of baby C born prematurely on June 10, 2015 weighing 800 g, the child died 4 days later. Letby was convicted of murder on the charge, based significantly on the evidence of the prosecution's lead expert witness, Dr. Dewey Evans. He alleged she injected air into the baby's stomach via a nasogastric tube, NGT, which is connected through the nose to enable feeding.
So wicked.
That method of harming babies was also alleged by the prosecution, and found by the jury, to be a cause of collapse for 2 other babies, INP. The charge regarding baby C relied on a joint experts report signed by Evans in August 2022, 2 months before the trial. It stated that the evidence for air having been injected into the stomach could be seen on an X-ray of the child taken on June 12, 2015. The neonatal unit at the Countess of Chester Hospital. The pediatric pathologist instructed by the prosecution, Dr. Andreas Martin-Rides, told the court that all the prosecution's experts had come to the same finding, based on that X-ray. However, during the trial it emerged that letby had not worked on that day, nor on the 2 previous days after baby C's birth. Evans gave evidence in the trial when it had already been established by earlier witnesses that letby had not worked with baby C before the X-ray was taken. In the witness box, he departed from his written report and proposed 2 new possible causes of the child's collapse. He said a large volume of air caused the diaphragm to splint on June 13, when letby was on duty, and that air may have been injected into the bloodstream. Challenged by letby's barrister at the trial, Benjamin Myers KC, Evans acknowledged he had never mentioned either of those potential causes of death throughout 5 years of working on the case, and in 9 written reports. Sorry, Evans said, explaining his change of evidence, this baby was put in harm's way.
Exactly.
Johnson maintained in his closing speech that letby killed baby C using air down the feeding tube as her method, saying she did so on June 13, and that the prosecution based the allegation on Evans's evidence. The Court of Appeal judgment highlighted Evans having changed his evidence on the witness stand if he did step over the line in relation to one baby, baby C, in which he gave his opinion on the cause of the baby's collapse for the first time in his evidence to the jury. That did not invalidate his evidence generally. The 3 judges nevertheless denied letby's leave to appeal. Dr. Mike Hall, a retired consultant neonatologist and visiting professor in neonatal medicine, advised letby's legal defense team but was not called to give evidence at the trial. He said, I feel a particular sense of injustice about baby C because all 4 main prosecution witnesses who gave evidence about the child either directly or indirectly led the jury to believe that part of the cause of the demise was evidence from an X-ray taken on June 12, 2015. Letby had never been involved with that baby prior to that X-ray. In response to questions from The Guardian, Evans said he had now completed a new report for the police on baby C's medical condition, based on corrected medical notes. He explained he changed his opinion at the trial after hearing staff give their evidence. Evans said letby murdered baby C during her night shift of June 13, but he declined to say whether he maintained this was by injecting air down the NGT. This month, The Telegraph reported that Evans had said he now believed the cause of death was air injected intravenously, not down the NGT. Last week I carried out a detailed review from the corrected case notes, only received by me in June 2022, and have now worked out what led to infant C's death in more detail, and have completed my report, Evans told The Guardian. Asked for his current opinion on the baby's cause of death, he replied, I think that in my evidence I said that it was the result of air into the bloodstream, but I have not seen the transcript. Asked to clarify further, Evans said Cheshire Police had now told him not to discuss baby C in the press. The allegation that letby murdered babies by injecting air down their nasogastric tubes has, as The Guardian reported in July, been one of the lightning rods for the criticism from medical experts, who described the theory as nonsensical or rubbish, ridiculous, implausible and fantastical. MacDonald said, Dr. Dewey Evans appears to be shifting his opinion regarding one of the most fundamental aspects of the case, the medical evidence. I have now spoken, and have reports, from some of the most senior neonatologists in the country, and none of them has yet agreed with Dr. Evans. Evans has consistently maintained that his evidence was correct. The Guardian contacted the lawyer representing baby C's mother at the Thirlwall inquiry. She replied that they did not wish to comment. A CPS spokesperson pointed to the fact that letby had been convicted in 2 separate trials and said, in May, the Court of Appeal dismissed letby's leave to appeal on all grounds, rejecting her argument that expert prosecution evidence was flawed. A spokesperson for Cheshire Constabulary said, in light of the ongoing investigations and current active legal proceedings, we will not be commenting any further on this case. A spokesperson
So they're trying to say that Lucy Letby was innocent of all this, considering that how people said on her watch the infants was being unalived.
As the
Crazy.
Thirlwall inquiry continues to hear evidence, the questions about the safety of Letby's convictions are mounting.
Well, so they're saying she wasn't there for baby C, but she was there for the others. Basically, that's what they're trying to say, all in a nutshell. To put it in terms. So now they're saying, could Lucy Letby be innocent? There's a strong case that she is innocent. I don't think she's innocent. The fact is, juries get it wrong, and yes, so do the Court of Appeal. History teaches us that Lucy Letby may be guilty of murder, but it looks quite possible that some key evidence was ignored and other evidence, both medical and statistical, and misinterpreted. Oh, well, they're trying to say the woman's innocent now. Sure, it's crazy. Anyways, I just thought I'd bring this and update the Lucy Letby information, and it's changing every single day or every single time she goes to appeal. It keeps. Oh, was it awful that time? With that said, I will see you in the next one. Hopefully you heard all that, because I don't know what you heard. Otherwise, I might have to redo this whole half of the video again. But if I have to do, if you didn't hear all this, we will go through this again. You know I will go through this again, right? Because there is a lot of information in that, like the swipe door thing, the saying that how she wasn't there for baby C, demising, and certain stuff. So yeah, if I feel that I've missed things out on this live, I guarantee I'm gonna come back and I'm going to redo it in more detail, right? Because I feel there's loads of stuff to look on in this one, in this particular one. There's certain concerns that is there. They talk about the back door thing, the swipe door. Our cameras is everywhere. So they talk about overturning her convictions. They have an example of the layout of the hospital to prove that how she probably wasn't there when she was there, or whatever the case may be. Baby K is brought up. Baby C is brought up. There's a lot of stuff to dive into this one. So if I have to do it tomorrow, if I have to come back tomorrow and come and complete this thing, I will do it. This time I will put it up on screen. Because if I put it up on screen, then people won't understand what is going on. Because this lady is a Myra Hindley in disguise. The only difference is that how on the outside she looks very innocent. Right? She looks very innocent on the outside. And now they're trying to find ways to say that she's not the one who did it. When she was caught I think she was waiting for the child to pass away. She was standing there while the child was passing away. So if that isn't I'm trying to think of a word, the killer, I don't know what it is, because she also had trophies from the children on like letters, all sorts of stuff. So I don't see why they're trying to change it into something else now. Like, even though like her appeals has not been successful so far. But it's not that it ain't successful. It's like, what are they trying to say? They're trying to say that there's two people involved, there's another person involved apart from her. So if they haven't picked up the statistical stuff, because right, they have to check out charts and different stuff. in these units and whatever else. So, like I said, if I feel when I listen back to this and I feel that I've missed out parts, I'm going to come back and I'm going to pick out every part of this thing and I'm going to go through it. Even if it takes me to 1 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to pick through this thing because I don't know, words escape me right now. So the parents must be reading this and thinking, what the hell? What the hell? They're trying to say she's innocent. What the, you know what I'm saying? So, with that said, I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not even going to say any more on this one. I'm going to come back and I feel that I'm going to find out who certain bodies is in there. The Tolwell inquiry, who's doing the inquiry. Yeah, I'm gonna pick out the little things out of this article because there is little things in there that is a bit okay. But with that said, I'm not gonna do it today because, like, yeah, I might do it tomorrow. So if you are here tomorrow at this time, because you know our times are different, before 11 o'clock, I'm gonna pick through it. If not, I'm just gonna do it and I'm gonna post it up. Because this right here, flinging the blame onto someone else when it's quite evident to what it is, like, okay, and I don't claim to say I know the law backwards and forwards. No, I don't. But anybody who have a logical mind will find out what is going on with this. You know what I'm saying? This cannot be just say whatever, because now they're saying this, everybody's coming up now and saying, oh, the CPS evidence was wrong. Let me see how they're saying it was wrong here. Let me see. The lawyer's going to explain it.
So what is ClickUp?
Let the lawyer explain. Oh, no. Actually, I might do this another time. Oh, I'm going to do a little bit.
Entered in the Lucy Let in this case.
Okay, so the evidence relates to the child who about whom they couldn't come to a decision, and that was baby K, the attempt murder case that she was subsequently convicted in respect of on retrial, and it's to do with the logs of her attendance and crucially who was with her, because in the first trial, although there wasn't a conviction in respect of that particular baby, it was contended and accepted, I think, by the jury, by the prosecution. It was put forward by the prosecution that she was on her own at a particular time. And in fact, there was what looks like, I suppose, have to give lawyers the benefit of the doubt. There's a greater risk of being found to have been misled, to have misled a court, which means most lawyers in these circumstances will not lie to the other side. But it appears that the prosecution, and I'm a defender, there was another nurse present. Now, this is a single instance. It relates to one log. In a case of that kind of real complexity, multiple strands of not just evidence but incidents, perhaps it's not unusual to expect that mistakes would have been made. And crucially, the prosecution appeared to have brought that to the attention of the defence and the court before the jury heard the evidence on that subject in that subsequent trial, the attempted murder trial. So it appears that evidence didn't assist in the conviction in respect of the murders, because it related to the attempted murder. It's then volunteered in trial, in the later trial, and of course she was convicted despite the fact the jury were not misled knowingly or otherwise in trial too. So although it's in a case of this significance, public, it's grabbed the public's imagination. There appears to be a groundswell of people who weren't in the trial, who haven't read the evidence, who are somehow convinced that she didn't do this, much better than the jury, who sat through all the evidence. But it doesn't appear that particular evidence has that much to do with the price of fish. And I don't mean to be flippant, and I'm defense-minded as a rule, but I'm also very wary of anyone who hasn't sat through.
Okay, so how do we get a chance to sit through the transcript and certain stuff so that we can know what was being put out? Because they're saying that how the evidence given was wrong. The evidence given was wrong. So how is the evidence given was wrong? But what I'm saying, I'm going to definitely go back over this now because of that. Because, yeah, I'm just going to do it, innit? So with that said, I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not going to prolong this live anymore. Please, if you have a comment, tell me what you think of this. How they're trying to say that how she wasn't the one who unalived the children. They're trying to say somebody else unalived the children. They're also saying that how people are coming to their own conclusions even after the time when she was taken in by the law or whatever. They're saying that how people's got it all wrong. She's innocent. I don't think she's innocent. But anyways, with that said, I'm going to leave it right there. Take care. Bye.